Welcome to the Thea Lee podcast. It is March 1st, 2026, and we are on day 60 of reading through the Bible. Today, the Lord gives Moses instructions if either a man or a woman wants to set themselves apart and take a special vow of a Nazarite. So this means that they are going to consecrate their lives to the Lord in a special way. So God's instructions are that they give up wine or any alcoholic drinks. They cannot use vinegar made from wine or drink fresh grape juice or eat grapes or raisins or anything that comes from a grapevine, not even grape seeds or skins. And they must never cut their hair for the entire time of their vow because they are holy and set apart to the Lord. So now they have an outward sign that they are a Nazarite. They must also not go near a dead body during the entire period of their vow. So even if someone in their own family passes away, mother, father, brother, sister, they cannot defile themselves to go near that body because their hair on their head is the symbol of their special separation to God. And this requirement applies for the entire time that they have set themselves apart for the Lord. So even if someone just accidentally falls dead beside them, the hair that they've dedicated will now be defiled. So they wait for 7 days and then shave their heads, and they will be cleansed from their defilement. On the 8th day, they bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons to the priest at the entrance of the tabernacle. The priest will offer one of the birds for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, and then he will purify them from the guilt that they incurred through the contact with the dead body. Then they must reaffirm their covenant and let their hair grow again. The days that they had already completed before their defilement now don't count any longer. They have to start all over again and rededicate themselves to the Lord as a Nazarite for the full term of their vow. And each must bring a 1-year-old male lamb for a guilt offering. This is the ritual law for all Nazarites, but at the time of their conclusion of the separation as Nazarites, they each go into the entrance of the tabernacle and offer their sacrifices to the Lord. So they bring a 1-year-old male lamb without defect for a burnt offering, a 1-year-old female lamb without defect for a sin offering, a ram without defect for a peace offering, and then that basket made of bread without yeast. So cakes of choice flour mixed with olive oil and wafers spread with olive oil, along with their prescribed grain offerings and liquid offerings. So the priest presents these offerings before the Lord. He does the sin offering, then the burnt offering, and then the ram for a peace offering. And then, along with the basket of bread made without yeast, the priest must also present the grain and liquid offering to the Lord. Then the Nazarite will shave their head at the entrance of the tabernacle, and they take that hair that's been dedicated and they burn it in the fire beneath the peace offering sacrifice. After their head has been shaved, the priest will take each of them a boiled shoulder of the ram, and from the basket a wafer made without yeast. He will put them all into the Nazarite's hand and lift them up as a special offering to God. These are the holy portions for the priest, along with the breast of the special offering and the thigh of the sacred offering that are lifted up before the Lord. After this ceremony, now the Nazarites can drink wine again. This is the ritual law of a Nazarite who vow to bring these offerings to the Lord. They can bring additional offerings if they can afford it, and then they must be careful to do whatever they vowed to do when they set themselves apart as Nazarites. Next, the Lord gives a priestly blessing to Aaron and his sons so they can bless the people of Israel with this special blessing. God says that whenever Aaron and his sons bless the people of Israel in his name, he himself will bless them. So this is the blessing. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you peace. Then the Lord explains to Moses that they should make 2 trumpets of hammered silver for calling the community to assemble for signaling the breaking of camp. So there's 2 trumpets, and when both are blown, everyone gathers at the same time at the entrance of the tabernacle. But if only 1 trumpet is blown, then it's just for the leaders of the tribes, so the heads of the clans of Israel will present themselves. When you sound the signal to move on, the tribes camped on the east side of the tabernacle break camp and move forward. Then you signal a second time, and the tribes camped on the south will follow, and then the short blast signal for moving on. But when you call the people to an assembly, blow the trumpets with a different signal. Only Aaron and his descendants are allowed to blow the trumpets, and that's a permanent law for generation to generation. And then it says, when you arrive in your own land and you go to war against your enemies, sound the alarm with the trumpets, and the Lord will remember you and rescue you from your enemies. You blow the trumpets in time of gladness too, so at the annual festivals and at the beginning of each month, and then you blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and peace offerings. So the trumpets remind the Lord of his covenant with you. There's a little note that says that Israel left Sinai less than a year after arriving there. From this point forward, Numbers spans just under 40 years. So, in the second year after Israel's departure from Egypt, on the 20th day of the second month, the cloud lifted from the tabernacle of the covenant. So the Israelites set out from the wilderness of Sinai and traveled from place to place until the cloud stopped in the wilderness of Paran. So the people set out for the first time following the instructions God had given to Moses. So Judah's troops led the way. They marched behind their banner, and their leader was Nahshon, son of Amminadab. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Issachar, led by Nathaniel, son of Zoar, and the troops of Zebulun, led by Eliab, son of Helon. Then the tabernacle was taken down, and the Gershonite and Merarite divisions of the Levites were next in line of marching, carrying the tabernacle with them. Reuben's troops were next, marching behind their banner. Their leader was Eleazar, son of Shedeur, and they were joined by the tribe of Simeon, led by Shelumiel, son of Jurashaddai, and then the troops of Gad, led by Eliasaph, son of Duel. Next came the Kohathite division of the Levites, carrying the sacred objects from the tabernacle. Before they get to the next camp, the tabernacle is already set up at this new location for them. Ephraim's troops were next, marching behind their banner, and their leader was Elishama, son of Ammihud. They were joined by the troops of the tribe of Manasseh, led by Gamaliel, son of Pedazur, and then the troops of the tribe of Benjamin, led by Abidan, son of Gideoni. Then Dan's troops were last, marching behind their banner and serving the rear guard for the entire tribal camps. Their leader was Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai, and they were joined by the tribe of Asher, led by Pagiel, son of Ochran, and the troops of the tribe of Naphtali, led by Ahira, son of Anan. This was the order in which the Israelites marched, division by division. One day, Moses tells his brother-in-law Hobab, son of Reuel the Midianite, "We are on our way to the place the Lord promised us, because he said, 'I will give it to you.' So come with us, and we will treat you well, because the Lord has promised wonderful blessings for Israel." But Hobab says he didn't want to go. He must return to his own land and family. But Moses pleaded with him and said, "Please don't leave us. You know the places in the wilderness where we should camp. Come and be our guide. If you do, we will share with you all the blessings that the Lord gives us." So they marched for 3 days after leaving the mountains of the Lord, with the ark of the Lord's covenant moving ahead of them to show them where to stop and rest. When they moved each day, the cloud of the Lord hovered over them, and whenever the ark set out, Moses would shout, "Arise, O Lord, and let your enemies be scattered. Let them flee before you." And then when the ark was set down, he would say, "Return, O Lord, to the countless thousands of Israel." So this description of the Nazarite vow at the beginning of our reading today, I hadn't really considered that before, but I love this idea of having a tangible way to consecrate yourself to the Lord, and then even a visual way by letting your hair grow, and then at the end of that vow, you shave it and burn it to the Lord. That's really beautiful. And of course, I love the priestly blessing that God gives Moses and Aaron to say over the people. And the description of the silver trumpets is incredible because it makes sense. They have to have a way to communicate with tens of thousands of people as to what's going on. But then it's also their way of communicating with God, because whenever God hears that, it reminds God of the covenant that he has with them. So that's really beautiful. And then this picture again of the Israelites breaking camp and leaving Sinai and understanding that you're talking tens of thousands of people, and it's so organized that God has such organization among his people. I looked it up the other day. So if we have, I think it was 603,550 registered troops or warriors in that bunch. So I looked this up, and the entire town of Albuquerque, I believe, is just over 500,000 people. And the state of North Dakota is just over 700,000 people. So that's just the warriors, not the women and children. So this was just an enormous undertaking, moving this amount of people. So just to give you a mental picture there. Thanks for listening. We'll talk again tomorrow.